A hushed stillness envelops the small cabin, where shadow and sound weave together like a secret lullaby. The gentle clack-clack of the train's movement becomes a heartbeat of the night, each thud a promise of journey unspooling, inviting Elara into the rhythm of travel. She feels the train sway slightly, sending a murmured vibration through the wooden boards beneath her, thrumming along her spine in waves of warmth. Wrapped in her wool blanket, she shifts, the fabric whispering softly against her skin, as if wrapping her in the very essence of the dark. Outside, the wind kisses the cabin's walls, a ghostly breath that stirs her senses and assures her of the world beyond, mysterious yet invitingly distant. The muted creaks of the wood frame harmonize with the train's song, cradling her as she nestles deeper into her cocoon. With a shift of her weight, Elara leans against the curved side of the cabin, feeling the coolness of the wood against her cheek, a stark contrast to the warmth of her blanket. Her fingertips glide over the fabric of her nightgown, savoring the simplicity of the soft linen now slightly crumpled from hours of rest. She senses the subtle play of her breath, a gentle rise and fall that syncs with the rumbling engine's lull, grounding her in the moment. Outside, the occasional features of the night brush by, dim silhouettes of trees and hills fleetingly enter her consciousness, then dissolve back into the black. A soft sigh escapes her lips, almost lost within the symphony of the train's motion and the night's breath. Here, surrounded by softly pulsating darkness, every sound enriches the delicate fabric of her present reality. A deeper breath fills Elara as she finally shifts her attention from the filling silence to the fading echoes of the outside world. The occasional whisper of wind against the window offers a tender farewell to the fleeting landscape, a reminder of the endless expanse stretching beyond her confines. Time flows gently within her small sanctuary, and she savors the tick-tock of moments slipping quietly past. She adjusts her blanket, tucking it more securely around her shoulders, the wool cradling her against the night's soft pressures. Eyes gently closed, she allows the steady rhythm of the train to lull her deeper into herself, creating a pocket of serenity within which she is both awake to the world and lost within her thoughts. In this cocoon of sound and warmth, she feels an exquisite sense of belonging, nestled among the whispers of the night. A metallic click punctuates the stillness, reverberating softly like the snap of a twig underfoot. Elara's fingers curl around the cool metal of the lantern, and with a flick, light spills across the small compartment, spreading warmth through the enveloping darkness. The room glows softly, revealing the polished mahogany walls that gleam in the honeygold light. Outside, night wraps the world in a deep, velvety black, broken only by the blurs of shadowy trees that streak past the window. The rhythmic clattering of the train wheels grinds against the iron tracks, a lullaby for the weary. Against her legs, the thick indigo blanket rustles as she shifts her weight, drawing its comforting weight closer. Each creak of the train echoes around her as she settles deeper into the embrace of her cozy sanctuary, the dim light catching droplets on the window like scattered jewels that twinkle with promise. The lantern's glow dances across the room, illuminating the brass fixtures that frame the soft edges of the compartment. Elara gazes out the fogged window, her breath creating a delicate mist that fogs the glass, transforming her world into a painter's canvas, blurring the lines of reality. Outside, the dark landscape shifts and swells, the chaos of the unseen melding into a soothing motion, a stark contrast to the cozy inside, where textures collide. The tight weave of her linen nightgown brushes against her skin, its coolness providing a counterpoint to the thick wool blanket clustered around her lap. She leans back against the smooth, warm wood of the wall, letting herself be cradled by the gentle sway of the train as it glides silently through the night. In this rolling cocoon, she feels the outside world fall away, the familiar sounds and sensations cocooning her in safety, stillness enveloping her like the blanket itself. The rhythmic clattering melds with the whispers of the wind as Elara exhales softly, her breath marking time in the lingering stillness. Each inhale brings in the fragrance of warm wood mixed with a hint of lavender from the linen nightgown, a comfort of home on this solitary journey. She shifts slightly, the movement causing the wool blanket to slide against her skin with a soothing rustle that punctuates the hush. She absently traces the pattern in the fabric with her fingers, the indigo threads cool and soft, each design telling a story of its own. The lantern flickers, casting playful shadows that dance across the walls, fleeting shapes reminiscent of the dreamscape outside. In this small, sacred space, she succumbs to the comforting rhythm of the train, each jolt and sway drawing her closer to that tranquil state of slumber where reality and daydreams intertwine, beckoning her into their embrace. The soft dripping gradually emerged from the background murmur of the train, steadily drawing Elara's attention away from her own thoughts. Light flickered gently above her, revealing the subtle contours of the compartment in weary gold. She turned her head, eyes narrowing toward the washbasin alcove, its edges softened by shadows. A drop fell, tap paused, then another followed. Each sound hung momentarily in the air, creating a rhythm of quiet solitude that contrasted sharply with the rattling journey ahead. The alcove, only slightly ajar, emitted a faint scent of aged porcelain, exhaustion mingling with the cool steam of passing clouds. The gentle persistence of the dripping felt almost like a conversation. It engaged her senses in a calm exchange that cupped her worries. Elara inhaled slowly, feeling the familiar texture of the linen nightgown against her skin, grounding her in the moment. Curiosity nudged at Elara as she pushed herself subtly from the seat, her bare feet pressing softly against the cool, metal floor. The sound of the water drop called to her insistently, like a whisper amid the train's murmurs. She stepped closer to the alcove, drawn by the allure of that simple, singular act, the drip. The compact basin, encased in a frame of chipped green tiles, stood slightly askew, lending an air of neglected charm. Her fingers brushed the textured edge of the basin, a contrast to the smooth dampness of the tiles where water had dribbled silently down. Another drop fell. She closed her eyes momentarily, letting the sound envelop her. It was persistent yet serene, drawing her deeper into this intimate cocoon of rhythmic tranquility. With a gentle smile curling her lips, she gazed at the basin, a shared secret between her and the ticking seconds. Feeling a profound sense of connection to that solitary drop of water, Elara leaned closer, her presence altering the space as she shifted to feel the contours of the basin. The air remained cool yet welcoming, infused with hints of moisture and the scent of metal and age. As she listened, the world around her dissolved, shrinking to that tiny drip which created a reassuring tempo amidst the moving train. Each sound echoed softly, reverberating against the compartment's walls, painting a sanctuary within the otherwise tumultuous journey. Her breathing slowed, aligning almost with the steady cadence of the drops, merging her heartbeat with the sound itself. She let her eyes wander from the basin to the far end of the compartment, where soft layers of fabric and memory folded into the corners. In this corner of the world, where even time seemed to pause, Elara felt a profound peace settled within her tightly knit existence, transient yet infinitely deep. Bare feet sink into the plush texture of the rug as Elara swings her legs from the warmth of the bunk. The linen of her nightgown softly grazes her skin, its simplicity a comfort. She grips the lantern, the cool iron handle grounding her as she holds it aloft. Its warm light spills across the dim space, creating a gentle glow that vibrates with the train's rhythmic movement. Shadows dance playfully against the walls, elongating and shifting with her careful strides. Elara moves towards the alcove, her steps present yet quiet against the soft fibers of the rug. Each footfall fades into the background, but the deeper hum of the train offers a soft cadence, merging with another sound that draws her in. Drip, tap. This steady, unmistakable sound beckons her forward, guiding her deeper into the hush of the carriage, the air tinged with anticipation and a hint of nostalgia. As she approaches the alcove, the air cools subtly, a whisper of change in the confined space. The gentle dripping resonates more distinctly now, harmonizing with the atmosphere of the train. Elara pauses, allowing the senses to absorb the moment, the faint scent of clean water mingled with the metallic tang of the basin ahead tugs at her curiosity. The lantern's glow reveals the porcelain basin, its surface gleaming milky white against the muted colors of the room. She sets the lantern down, positioning it to banish shadows that cling to the corners. With delicate fingers, she reaches toward the cool edge of the basin, the temperature contrasting pleasantly against the warmth of her skin. Drip, tap. The sound dances through her thoughts, pulling her focus back to the singular act of being present, to the simplicity of the task at hand, igniting a gentle thrill of familiarity within her. With purpose, she dips her fingers into the shallow basin. The sensation of the cool water flowing over her skin brings a shiver of clarity. The contrast between the cold liquid and the warmth of her body electrifies her senses, grounding her in the present. Ripples distort the reflection of her features in the porcelain, a soft reminder of fleeting moments. Drip, tap. The sound continues, steady and persistent, echoing her thoughts as she begins to wash her hands. Each splash of water is met with a soft cascade, a whisper of tranquility enveloping her in the small alcove. Light from the lantern glimmers on the surface of the water, twinkling like stars against the porcelain backdrop. Elara feels the moment stretch, enveloped by the warm glow and the consistent rhythm of the train, her mind drifting quietly as she indulges in the simple act of cleansing, surrendering to the calm of the night. Elara reaches the alcove, her steps quiet on the cool stone floor. The dim interior is bathed in the flickering warmth of her lantern, which casts dancing shadows across the intricately carved walls. She holds the lantern high, illuminating the small space that feels both sacred and forgotten. Above her, the ceiling arches gently, draped with cobwebs that sway slightly with the hushing of air. The light pools around a heavy brass faucet, its surface polished to a gleaming warmth, and she feels a ripple of history in its presence. The faucet, with intricate engravings worn over years, stands proudly despite the dust gathering in the corners. She observes intently as a singular bead of water forms slowly at the lip of the spout, shimmering like a tiny planet suspended in time, waiting to break free into the quiet surroundings. The drop of water swells gradually, its surface smooth and glistening under the amber glow. Light refracts within it, revealing the distorted image of the alcove, the tool of illumination itself caught indefinitely within its translucent sphere. Elara leans slightly forward, breath ensnared in an inspired hush, feeling the gravity of the moment stretch into infinity. Her heart echoes the slow rhythm of the drop's descent. Such a simple yet poignant act of nature captures the elegance in stillness. She can almost hear the gentle whisper of the water's build-up, an unhurried symphony of life's essential cycle. Finally, the drop gives in to the pull of gravity, surrendering itself with a soft, soothing plink against the porcelain sink below, sending ripples across its surface. For a heartbeat, she feels the world pause, tethered to the beauty of that minuscule release, an echo of transient delicacy. Momentarily, Elara is captivated by the splatter of the drop hitting the sink, a delicate reminder of the power in simple acts. The cool porcelain contrasts with the warm brass, striking her senses with a palpable clarity. She sways gently, her linen nightgown brushing against her skin, the linen's soft texture a humble armor against the chill of uncertainty that creeps in with the shadows. As the sound of dripping water fills the alcove, her mind wanders, contemplating all the lives that have touched this faucet, all the moments crystallized in droplets. Her fingers trace the cool stone of the alcove, connecting herself to the generations who have paused here, who have marveled at the same spectacle of nature's play. Standing in the glowing serenity, she wonders how many stories are hidden in these walls, waiting patiently for someone to notice the echoes of the past in their stillness, just as she has. A single drop falls, the air around it thick with expectancy until it strikes the porcelain basin with a soft, resonant asterisk tap star. The sound reverberates gently, echoing in the cozy stillness of the dimly lit bathroom. The basin, an artifact of time, reveals its history through a web of crazing, an intricate pattern of tiny, hairline cracks weaving across its surface like a delicate map. Each line tells a silent story of drastic temperature changes endured, of the many years it has cradled water, of its faithful service through seasons both harsh and gentle. Elara leans slightly, the cool floor tiles sending a pleasant chill through her feet, grounding her as she listens to the rhythmic dripping. The sound envelops her in a warm embrace, akin to the breathing of an old friend, embodying both comfort and constancy within the tranquil evening. Another drop falls, dancing toward its fate, splashing into the basin with a sound that lingers in the still air. A gentle warmth from an unseen heater wraps around Elara, contrasting with the coolness of the floor beneath her bare feet. She reaches for the aged brass faucet, the surface worn smooth by years of touch, her fingers tracing the cool metal before turning it just slightly. The mechanism grumbles softly in response, echoing the sigh of the house settling into the night. Shadows play across the walls, flickering faintly as a faint breeze slips through the cracked window, carrying with it the earthy scent of the Carpathian foothills. Here, in this sacred space, the outside world feels distant and muted, allowing Elara a moment of solitude and reflection as she stands in her thin, cream-colored nightgown, one hand resting against the cool porcelain. As the last of the water drips, a sense of completion fills the basin, as if a vessel with its own life has finished its duty for the evening. Elara straightens, savoring the calm that envelops her. She allows herself to be still, eyes contemplating the way the light catches the crazed surface, illuminating the imperfections that speak of years gone by. The sound of dripping has transformed into her own heartbeat, steady and reassuring. The cozy confines of the bathroom feel like a world apart, cocooning her from the encroaching shadows of the night outside. Each breath she takes deepens into the tranquility, wrapping her in a lingering embrace of silence as she nods to the porcelain basin, acknowledging the stories whispered in its quiet essence. The night is alive outside, yet here, she finds peace, suspended in time with the gentle rhythm of life around her. A soft, persistent drip of water echoed from the faucet, each sound like a heartbeat reverberating through the stillness of the cabin. Elara perched on the small, velvet-cushioned stool, her bare feet just brushing against the cool marble floor. The lantern's warm glow illuminated the subtle patterns of the countertop, reflecting a golden hue against the polished surface. She fixated on the basin, entranced by the way each drop formed, swollen with anticipation until it finally succumbed to gravity, cascading into the still basin below. Drip. The pause seemed to stretch, enveloping her in a profound silence. The cool air from the cabin washed over her, and she inhaled deeply, allowing the tranquil atmosphere to fill her lungs, taking root within her as she surrendered to this unhurried moment of nature's rhythm. As she watched, the water dripped in a leisurely cadence, setting a rhythm that intertwined with her very breath. The drop hung suspended at the faucet's edge, glistening softly as the lantern light refracted through its crystalline form, magnifying her anticipation. Her breathing mirrored the buoyancy of the drop, slow, deliberate. She felt the linen of her nightgown softly brushing against her skin, the fabric light and cool, a gentle contrast to the growing warmth of the lantern's glow. This small cabin, with its rustic wooden beams and the sweet smell of the woods beyond, enveloped her like the embrace of a deep sigh. Drip. The sound melded seamlessly with the beating of her heart, slow and soothing, urging her to shed her worries, to simply observe. Elara felt time stretch, each drop providing a pulse in the tranquil silence, gently lulling her thoughts into a soft haze. The moment seemed to stretch infinitely, as if she could grasp hold of time itself and tenderly unwind it, drop by drop. She closed her eyes momentarily, tuning into the sensations, the cool air caressing her cheeks, the weight of her loosely tied hair slipping slightly against her neck. The world outside faded into an abstract blur of nature, the faint rustling of leaves whispering through the half-open window. Again, the water gathered, balancing precariously at the lip of the faucet, and her breath hung with it. Finally, as the drop fell, she exhaled, releasing all tension, embracing the peaceful symphony of simplicity and stillness. Drip, tap. The cabin held its breath along with her, allowing the melodies of their shared serenity to linger. She exhales fully and slowly as the water releases from the tap, each droplet mirroring the rhythm of her breath. The polished porcelain basin, cool to the touch, glistens against the gentle light filtering through the cracked window above. Dust motes waltz in the sunbeams, dancing softly in the stillness of the compartment as the train rocks gently on the tracks. Elara closes her eyes, feeling the warm, humid air embrace her like a soft blanket. Her dark hair sways slightly as she tilts her head, releasing the knots of tension held tightly in her neck. Her breath, steady and deep, carries echoes of the day's travel, the bustling streets, the hurried goodbyes. With each exhale, she discards the remnants of unease swirling within her, matching the water's cascade with an unhurried finality, as her thoughts dwindle like the droplets that slide away. Inhale with the gathering drop, feel the tightness unraveling at her core, each movement reminding her of the journey ahead. The rhythmic sound from the tap melds perfectly with the train's gentle clatter against the tracks, creating a symphony of stability amid uncertainty. Elara opens her eyes to meet the surface of the water, rippling softly, reminiscent of the undulating hills outside. The world slides by like a dream, green and gold blur together, lush fields grazing the horizon. Her fingers, relaxed now, touch the cool rim of the basin, finding solace in its steadfastness. Each droplet that cascades from the tap matches the nurturing heartbeat of the train beneath her, cocooning her in a moment of peace. The evening light slowly dims, painting the compartment in soft shadows, as she embraces this temperate solitude, shedding her worries like autumn leaves flaking from their branches. Exhale with its release, sighing as the last traces of tension dissolve into the water below. The familiar lull of the train nestles her deeper into a state of tranquil surrender, where reality blurs and thoughts slip away like fleeting wisps of smoke. Elara leans back, her body becoming one with the upholstered seat, surrendering entirely to the rhythm of the journey. The cool linen of her nightgown brushes against her skin, gentle and comforting. Her eyelids, like weighted curtains, droop heavily, beckoning her into a serene oblivion. Soft murmurs of fellow passengers filter into her awareness, a distant buzz enveloping her but failing to break the spell cast by the train's gentle rocking. Vague shapes flicker past the window as twilight deepens, yet all of it fades against the backdrop of her own deepening breath, a meditation nurtured by the heartbeat of the steel beast that carries her forth. Fingers glide over the cool marble surface beside the basin, the stone so smooth it feels almost ethereal. Elara's skin prickles as she senses a deep, resonant vibration coursing through the marble, a whisper of the distant train engine thrumming beneath her. The rhythmic pulse is a reminder, grounding her to this unique space carved from time. Beeswax, freshly polished, emanates a comforting warmth that mingles with the mineral scent of the pristine water pooled before her. It brings forth images of sunlit days spent in gardens, while the faint dusty aroma of old velvet cushion from the stool wraps around her, cradling her in nostalgia. Soft, golden lantern light envelops her, smoothing out the lines of worry etched across her brow, offering a serene cocoon of warmth. Here, she transcends the chaos of the outside world, enveloped in the soft embrace of stillness and peace. Elara exhales slowly, her body relaxing further into the embrace of the stool, its worn velvet cradling her like a cherished secret. Drops of water slip from the basin's edge, their gentle plink softening the silence, each sound a reminder of nature's fluid rhythms. She tilts her head slightly, allowing her dark hair to cascade effortlessly, the loose strands brushing against her neck, amplifying her sensory awareness. Her thoughtful brown eyes scan the reflections in the water, where soft ripples distort the golden glimmers of light, creating a dance that mimics her own heartbeat. The world outside fades, its edges blurred under a veil of silence as she focuses on the here and now. Time stretches languidly, fluid like the water that ebbs and flows beneath her fingers, and every trivial worry dissolves, leaving space only for the profound calm settling deeply within her. The steady dripping continues, a rhythm infused with patience as Elara sinks into a deeper state of calm. The comforting weight of the atmosphere wraps around her, it feels as substantial as the mahogany walls encasing her. The wood, polished to a sheen, catches the lantern light, reflecting warmth back into the space, resonating with her own heartbeat. Her breathing matches the soft cadence of the water droplets, slow and deliberate, as she allows herself to be wholly present in this moment. She shifts slightly, the linen nightgown whispering softly against her skin, a gentle reminder of her own existence. The scents swirl around her, the memories embedded in the dust of time meld with her senses, grounding her firmly in both memory and reality. Here, she is whole and complete, a singular entity in the vastness, cocooned in tranquility with no rush to face the world beyond. The gentle rhythm of the train rocked Elara like a lullaby, the worn velvet seat cradling her as the deep, vibrato sound of clacking wheels filled the compartment. Pale amber light filtered through the window, casting warm shadows against her soft, dark hair tied loosely at the nape of her neck. The texture of her linen nightgown brushed against her skin, cool yet comforting, a whisper against the warmth enveloping her. Outside, darkness swelled, punctuated by the fleeting glimmers of distant lights in the countryside, merging into a soft palette of amber and deep indigo. With each deep breath, she felt the familiar pull of sleep, a gentle tug that blurred the lines of awareness. Elara nestled deeper into her seat, surrendering to the oscillation, the world quieting as she leaned into the embrace of the train's lull. In this cocoon of sound and light, she felt herself begin to float. The clatter of the train faded into a rich symphony as Elara's senses shifted deeper into the rhythm of the journey. The sensations of motion intertwined with her own being, each jolt and sway melding into a soothing cadence. Her chin dipped lower, the soft fabric of her nightgown brushing against her collarbone like a lingering touch. As the outside world slipped away, the dim light behind her eyelids flickered like stars in distant skies, a comforting refuge that beckoned her towards peace. The cool air that drifted through the slightly ajar window carried with it the scent of damp earth and pine, mingling with the faint remnants of lavender from her fabric. Each inhalation coddled her spirit. Drifting further, Elara felt the boundaries of herself dissolve. In this womb-like space of the train, all that existed was her breath, a rhythmic pulse matching the heartbeat of the Carpathian sleeper. With a final, lengthy exhalation, Elara surrendered entirely to the enveloping darkness behind her eyelids. The train chugged steadily, the hum of the wheels on the rails now a serene lull that whispered sweet promises of rest. In this moment, she no longer felt the machinations of steel and wood but became one with the aged spirit of the train as it cleaved effortlessly through the night. Her limbs became heavy, the sensation of her weightlessness wrapped in warmth as the rocking motion refined the journey. Somewhere in the distant shadows, the sound of water tapping against the train drew her deeper into tranquility. She imagined herself adrift in an ancient cradle, the universe itself cradling her in its arms, whispering secrets of the night. Deep below the surface of thought, she sank into profound, dreamless sleep, while the Carpathian sleeper continued its trek across the silent, starlit landscape. Footsteps whispered against the cool, worn wooden floor as Elara padded through the dimly lit corridor, her bare feet brushing lightly over the smooth surface. The soft, muted glow of lantern light filtered through weathered windows, illuminating motes of dust that danced in the air like memories. The faint scent of lavender lingered, remnants of dried bunches that hung nearby. She paused at the door frame to the garden, allowing her fingers to trail along the rough, peeling paint, a reminder of the place's age and neglect. Outside, the world was folded into shadows, illuminated only by the soft, silver light of the moon that clung to the soft outlines of the sleepy foliage. The evening air felt slightly damp against her skin, invigorating yet gentle, as she took a breath, her heart steady and calm as she absorbed the quiet beauty around her. Stepping into the garden, Elara's nightgown billowed softly around her ankles, the fabric whispering against the blades of grass as she wandered further into the twilight. Her fingers grazed the edges of dewy petals, each drop clinging like tiny jewels that refracted the moonlight into tiny rainbows. She inhaled deeply, the crisp scent of soil mixed with floral notes filling her lungs, grounding her in this moment. The soft rustle of leaves in the gentle breeze provided a rhythmic backdrop, a tender lullaby that made her feel both small and connected to the vast universe above her. As she lowered herself to touch the cold earth, her palm pressed flat against the ground, the coolness seeped into her skin, a reminder of life beneath the surface, waiting patiently to awaken. With her knees sinking into the soft, yielding earth, Elara let out a soft sigh as she released her thoughts to the stillness of the night. The surrounding darkness held a promise, whispering secrets only the stars could understand. Time felt suspended, every heartbeat resonating with the pulse of the world around her. She closed her eyes for a moment, the cool breeze brushing against her cheeks, and listened to the distant crooning of nocturnal creatures, their calls echoing through the tranquil landscape. The linen of her nightgown felt like a gentle cocoon against her skin, while her free hand cupped a nearby flower, its velvety petals welcoming and warm, a stark contrast to the cool air. In this embrace of nature, she felt an awakening within, a soft urge to nurture and create amidst the shadows. Soft sunlight threaded through the cracks in the curtains, casting delicate patterns across the wooden floor. Elara stood at the window, her fingers gently tracing the edge of the glass, feeling the warmth from the sun seep through. The air was perfumed with the sweet scent of blooming jasmine that sprawled lazily in the garden below. Outside, leaves rustled with the whisper of a gentle breeze, their shadows dancing like fleeting memories on the ground. She held her breath, captivated by a lone bird that flitted from branch to branch, chirping a lonesome tune that echoed the tranquil peace she craved. With quiet determination, she turned, allowing the sun-drenched room to cradle her in its embrace, as she prepared to step away from the solitude for the day ahead. The crisp aroma of freshly baked bread wafted through the air as Elara entered the kitchen, her bare feet padding softly against the cool tiles. She reached out to touch the smooth surface of the countertop, a comforting anchor amidst the bustle of the morning. Sunlight poured through the window, illuminating specks of flour dancing in the air like tiny galaxies. She grabbed a soft cloth, her fingers brushing against the textured fabric, and began wiping down the counter, each stroke a meditative rhythm against the chaos of the day. The sound of her calm breathing mixed with the distant hum of nature just outside, a reminder that the world outside was alive, teeming with energy, while she found solace in the simplicity of her task. The warmth of the oven radiated against her skin as she prepared the morning meal, momentarily lost in thoughts of yesterday and tomorrow. Elara stepped outside, the gravel crunching softly underfoot as she made her way to the garden. The vibrant colors of blossomed flowers greeted her, bathing her in a sea of scents and textures. As she knelt to tend to the delicate petals of a marigold, her fingers sank into the cool, damp earth, mixing with the warmth of the sun striking her back. A flutter of excitement washed over her with each careful touch. This was her sanctuary, where silence and the sounds of nature intertwined beautifully. She pulled weeds gently, feeling the resistant tug of roots before they surrendered to her persistence. With every small victory, she straightened to admire her work, the sun glinting against her soft, dark hair as she breathed in deeply, the vibrant earth grounding her within a dance of life around her.